When it comes to dominating Elden Ring, there really is only one weapon that instantly comes to mind, and that is the Blasphemous blade. This thing has had so many nerfs but still remains one of the best weapons in the game. The Shadow of the Erdtree DLC even ended up making this build even stronger. And today I'm going to show you how to make the best Blasphemous blade build. So what makes this weapon so goddamn good? The main reason is because of the Taker's Flame weapon skill, which not only does insane amounts of damage, but heals you after every successful hit, making this weapon perfect for any new starter to the game. This weapon deals fire damage, which many enemies are weak to in Elden Ring, but there are some which are resistant to this. However, fear not, as the Taker's Flame skill still deals an absolutely absurd amount of damage. The damage of Taker's Flame is fine on its own, but this can be increased by the use of talismans, incantations, and also your choice of armor. There will be 4 talismans in this build, which all together give us additional damage to Taker's Flame skill. The first talisman we'll be using is the Shard of Alexander, which boosts the damage of Taker's Flame by 15%. Next up, we'll be using the Fire Scorpion Charm, which will increase our fire damage by 12%. We're then using the Godfrey Icon, which again boosts our damage even further. And finally, we're going with the new talisman brought in with the DLC, which is the Talisman of the Dread. This talisman will increase our potency of magic damage by 14%, which works perfectly with Taker's Flame. It's important to note that you can swap out any of these talismans for any other talisman that you'd like. One that I would recommend is the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman. This will significantly boost your damage negation, which with this build would be perfect. If you really wanted to even push your damage even further with this build, then I would recommend running oil pots. Throw one of these on your enemies and use Taker's Flame straight after, and just watch their health bar absolutely get deleted. Next up, we're going to make this build even better and discuss the buffs for the build. The 2 incantations we'll be using are Golden Vow, which boosts physical attack power by 15%, and Flame Grant Me Strength, which gives an additional 20% attack power, and these do stack. To add even more damage to this build, we're going with the Rakshashka Armor, which increases attack power by 8% when the set is fully equipped. Along with giving that extra buff, this armor is also one of the best looking armors in the game, and fits perfectly for the build that we're trying to go for. This is one of the strongest builds in Elden Ring without a doubt, and it will make the base game and the DLC feel easy. So if you're looking just to sit back and relax and enjoy the lands between, then this build is perfect for you. And finally, for weapon, we're obviously going with a fully upgraded Blasphemous blade. This can be obtained in the base game by defeating Rykard. We're basing this build on a level 150 character, and the main stats you're going to want to increase are both Vigor and Faith. For Vigor, we're going to go for 50 to give us more than enough health for both the base game and the DLC, but you could even lower this if you want to increase any other stats such as Endurance or Mind. We're going with 20 Mind, which gives us enough FP to spam Taker's Flame during a fight, but again, this can be increased further if you would like to have more uses of the weapon skill before needing to refill. 25 Endurance is enough for you to equip the armor, weapon, and talismans before going into a heavy equip load. If you'd like to change up the armor, then feel free to increase this stat to stop you from fat rolling. Strength and Dex are going to stay at the minimum required to wield the weapon, although the weapon does scale with Strength and Dex. The real big damage number come from the Faith stat, and that is what Taker's Flame bases its damage off of. Therefore, we're going to want to pump the Faith stat all the way up to 80 to give us the maximum amount of damage for the build. For my Flask, I'm using the Flame Shrouding Cracked tier, which boosts the fire attacks by 20%. I'm also running the Blood Sucking tier, which boosts the damage even more, but this tier will slowly drain your health, which can be a bit of a pain at times. So if you want more protection, I would advise to swap this tier out for the Opaline Hard tier, for the extra damage negation. Just take a look at what this build does to a boss in the Elden Ring DLC. I get it that not everyone wants to sweat in Souls games and struggle to get anywhere non-stop. If you're a part-time gamer in this game and simply don't have the time to, quote, get good, then this build will have you up and running and fully enjoying the game. This is the strongest build and easiest to use build in Elden Ring, which allows you to explore and collect all items without having to worry about enemies giving you a hard time. For more build guides, and if you enjoy this video, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified when the new video releases. Catch you in the next one.